Hello, future Lancers. Congratulations on your acceptance to the University of Windsor. We're really excited for you to begin your journey at UWindsor, and I'd like to show you what your fall term in first year will look like. As you're learning more about what's required for your accepted program, it's important to understand which courses will be essential in completing your degree. Required courses allow you to gain necessary information and create a fundamental base that will allow you to take further specialized courses in future years. Even though there are required courses for each program, you're also able to choose a certain number of elective courses. This allows you to expand your knowledge about other courses and subjects in different programs. This session will allow you to understand which courses are required and, choosing your elective options, some tips for planning a successful schedule, also where you can go for help. The Bachelor of Social Work program, or the BSW, is a kind of unique program at university. It's a little bit different from others, and that's because we have these two parts to the programs. We have the academic program, which are the courses that you take, and then we also have field education, or your placement. Here's an overview of the four-year honors Bachelor of Social Work. In the first 2 years, you only take 4 social work courses, and then you have 16 other courses in other areas. Those 4 social work courses provide you the foundational learning that you need in order to continue into the upper years of the BSW. The reason that we only ask you to take 4 social work courses is that we really want you to have a good basis of knowledge in other areas before we ask you to specialize in social work, which is what we ask you to do in years 3 and 4. In year 3, you take academic courses that will teach you the knowledge, the theories, and the skills that you need in order to do social work, which is what year 4 is all about, doing social work. Here you have the opportunity to continue your learning alongside an experienced social worker at an organization. And so this is your placement. And that experienced social worker will closely supervise your learning as you progress through the year. The University of Windsor offers not just the regular Bachelor of Social Work degree, but also a couple of options for combining that degree with another area. So we offer the BSW and Disability Studies, along with the BSW and Women's and Gender Studies. If you're pursuing one of those 2 options, I will describe the courses you need a little bit later on. But I'll start with the courses for the regular BSW in social work. For this program, in the first semester of your first year, there are 2 required courses: Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare, and a General Arts course, GART 1500, Effective Writing 1. Let's take a look at a bit of detail about these 2 courses. So Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare, helps you to understand the Canadian social welfare system. And that's the system through which folks who need a little bit of assistance receive that assistance. So we're going to talk about the history of it. We're going to talk about the politics of it and the philosophy of it. Your second required course is GART 1500. This is a course that all first-year students in our faculty have to take, and it builds on the skills that you've learned in high school, the writing skills that you've learned in high school, and helps you to apply them to an academic setting. And so you'll learn some grammatical, structural skills, as well as critical thinking. In addition to the 2 required courses in the BSW in social work, we also suggest that you choose one other social science, and there's a list of areas you can choose from. Okay, and those are listed on the slide. We also ask you to take one science course, and at university, sciences are much broader than you've experienced in high school. So it's not just biology, chemistry, or physics. We have sciences in many different areas, including astronomy, geology, etc., etc. We also have courses that you might not traditionally think of as sciences that we will count as sciences. So in helping you to choose this, particularly if you're not a traditional science fan, I would encourage you to search for a document on the website that's called Science Courses for Non-Science Majors. Okay, again, that's Science Courses for Non-Science Majors. You search that on our website, and it will bring you up a list of courses that you don't need to be a science student to take. And then we also recommend in the first year that you consider taking a course from any area of study. So this is one of your elective courses, and it truly can be from any area at all. So some people use this as an opportunity to take a second language. Some people explore an interest in the arts. Some people enjoy science, and so they take more sciences. It's up to you, the course that you take in this area. But the important thing is that it be a first-year course. All right, so just an overview, a summary. BSW in social work, your major courses in the fall semester, Social Work 1170 and GART 1500. And then the other required courses, a course or 2 from social sciences, and those were listed on a previous slide, a science course, and a course from any area of study. If you are in the BSW in social work and disability studies, so this is one of the combined degrees, your courses will look a little bit different. You have 4 required courses. The first is Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare, and then a Disability Studies course, Disability 1000, Social Justice in Action. Psych 1150, which is Introduction to Psychology as a Behavioral Science, and then GART 1500, Effective Writing 1. Again, that's a course that all students in our faculty have to take. So once again, a little bit of detail about the required courses. Social Work 1170 is that introductory social work course that helps describe and analyze our social welfare system in Canada. Social work and disability studies students also take Disability Studies 1000, Social Justice in Action. And so this is a course that introduces you to the origins and the actions of social justice activists. You'll have the opportunity to analyze various efforts towards achieving social justice. Psych 1150 is another required course, Introduction to Psychology as a Behavioral Science. So this is one of 2 Introduction to Psychology courses that social work and disability studies students are required to take. GART 1500 again, the course that builds on your writing skills you learned in high school and helps to refine them and expand them for an academic setting. All right, an overview of the courses that we talked about for the BSW in Social Work and Disability Studies. So you have to take Disability Studies 1000, Social Justice in Action, Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare, Psych 1150, Introduction to Psychology as a Behavioral Science, GART 1500, Effective Writing 1, and then if you're in the BSW in Social Work and Disability Studies, you also should take one course from any area that's not disability studies, psychology, or social work. I'm going to switch now to the BSW in Social Work and Women's Studies, so the combined BSW in Social Work and Women's Studies. Your required courses for the fall are Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare, the Introductory Women and Gender Studies course, which is Women and Gender Studies 1000, Women in Canadian Society. And then you're going to choose between two other Women and Gender Studies courses. The first one is 1200, Gal Pals, which is about women and friendship, or Women and Gender Studies 1300, Imagining Women. And then, like all first-year students in our faculty, you are required to take GART 1500, Effective Writing 1. So, a brief overview of each of those required courses. Social Work 1170, Meeting Human Needs Through Social Welfare. Again, looking at the foundations of our Canadian social welfare system, the ways in which we support folks who are deemed to be vulnerable populations, and assessing those, assessing the services, assessing the needs of folks who are in need of some support. Women and Gender Studies 1000 is Women in Canadian Society, and so it helps you to understand the position of women in Canadian society, and then takes a look at gender identities and how we form those, and the resulting privileges that some women have with regards to other women. So, Women and Gender Studies 1200, Gal Pals. So it takes a look at a whole bunch of different women's friendships, discussions, readings, films, looking at friendship among women and sort of what it means to women, and then more broadly in society and politically. Women and Gender Studies 1300, Imagining Women. So this is about how women are represented in popular culture. GART 1500 is, again, the course that helps you to start to learn about academic writing, building on the skills you've learned in high school. All right, so an overview of the combined BSW in Social Work and Women's Studies. Then you need to take Social Work 1170, Women and Gender Studies 1000, one of Women and Gender Studies 1200, or Women and Gender Studies 1300. GART 1500, the writing course, and then you can choose one course from any area except for Women's and Gender Studies or Social Work. So you get to explore something outside of Social Work, Women and Gender Studies, that may be of interest to you. All right. I'm going to give you a few tips for planning a successful first semester at university. The first thing is you'll see that you're scheduling your courses, and picking your schedule. It's really important that you should expect to be taking classes several days a week. It's not realistic at all to expect that, for example, you can say, okay, I'm going to have my Mondays and Fridays free, and I'm just going to take classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That would be pretty unusual that you would be able to do that. So you need to be aware that you'll have to be available for classes quite a few days a week. It's important for you to understand your strengths as a student and plan your schedule accordingly. So if you are somebody who is really good at taking in information in small portions, then it's really important not to schedule your classes back to back all day, because it'll probably be really hard for you to stay focused. In fact, I would say that about anyone, really, is that scheduling your classes back to back all day would be really, really challenging. It's different. Your classes are different than they were in high school. There's a lot more material covered in a class, and so it takes an enormous amount of focus while you're in class. It's quite tiring, actually. So yeah, be realistic about how many classes in one day you take. When you're choosing your classes, make sure that you don't have any conflicts. Okay, so you're going to need at least 10 minutes between your classes, sometimes more, because where you have to go from one class to the next could be quite a bit of a walk. So you want to make sure you have enough time to get there. You also want to make sure that you don't have conflicts among final exam times, for example. Usually the system where you register will flag that for you, but you want to check all these things and just make sure you're not creating a challenge for yourself. Some courses have what are called labs, and so you have to sign up for the class, and then you also have to choose a lab time. One example of this is psychology. Please don't feel that you're alone in trying to figure out the courses to take. We are here to help you, so please don't hesitate to shoot us an email at bsw@uwindsor.ca. We would be more than happy to help you make sure your courses are right, to help you look at your schedule. Often new students will just send me their schedule and say, hey, do you think this is okay? And we'd be happy to do that. So that email again is bsw@uwindsor.ca. At the University of Windsor, we are definitely here to help. Please remember that every faculty has academic advisors and staff who are happy to assist you. Please reach out to our staff if you require advice and assistance. You can also visit this website that's on the slide for help planning your courses for the upcoming semester and to connect with an academic advisor for additional support. Again, welcome to the University of Windsor. We look forward to working with you.